I think the most important thing at the moment is that every hour counts. It's an absolutely abominable level of suffering inside Gaza, and it's a preventable level of suffering. I think that the circumstances on the ground, we're an international humanitarian agency, we have teams on the ground, we have partners on the ground, but they can't do their job. And what's more, they report out of absolutely dire circumstances that bring a human dimension to the UN statistics that no doubt you've heard, which is that 1 in 5 of the population, so 500,000 people, face famine. And this is a judgment from an independent assessment of the situation on the ground. So what counts now is not language, it's actions to address this highly preventable situation, which at the moment is afflicting over 2 million people.
David, what action do you think needs to now be taken? Because I mean, I was speaking to one of the presidents of Oxfam on the programme yesterday, who said that frankly the arms that the UK is selling to Israel, that needs to stop immediately.
Well, the action that I'm concerned about is action to save lives. Now, we have 27 pallets, IRC pallets, of medicines and nutritional supplements waiting to come in. So what needs to happen now is the opening of the crossings to humanitarian goods and also to commercial goods. We know that in the 6 weeks of the ceasefire, there was significant improvement in the living conditions of people inside Gaza. It wasn't the full solution by any manner of means. When the crossings were closed 11 weeks ago, it started the descent into the kind of hell that you're reporting at the moment. And so the absolute priority, and I can confirm this from conversations with our own teams on the ground, lives are at stake now. Tom Fletcher, the UN coordinator, the man who's in charge of global humanitarian efforts, said that 14,000 children's lives are on the line. I mean, I haven't got that. I can't give you that overall picture. I can give you the specifics from what our teams are seeing, and they confirm absolutely dire needs. And so what counts now is opening up those crossings so that the material gets in there, but also the water supplies, the electricity, to make sure that these people are able to stay alive and establish some degree of sustainability.
60,000 dead. As you say, Tom Fletcher says that in the next 48 hours or so, if that much-needed aid doesn't enter Gaza, we could see the death of 14,000 children. You and I spoke about a year ago, and at that time you were warning about the risk of famine, and you were urging global leaders to do more. When I put that to Israeli officials, when I say David Miliband is saying this, Cindy McCain is saying this, Tom Fletcher is saying this, they dismiss it and say, well, they don't have the facts on the ground and there is sufficient aid getting into Gaza, even though we know that from about the end of February through to this period now, the people of Gaza have not received much needed aid and that there is a blockade.
Well, you're right. And the facts that I'm giving you from the ground are right as well. And the proof of that is that when the aid supplies started coming in, the human conditions improved. Of course, there's another point here. The concern about looting and diversion of aid, the more aid you get in, the less valuable each item of aid is. So we're stuck in the most vicious of vicious circles at the moment. We need to get out of it. That's the critical thing. And the fact that when there was the ceasefire for 6 weeks, it did deliver improvements. When the flow of aid was stopped because the ceasefire was over and then added to the curtailment of aid flows, as well as commercial flows, we've had the kind of needs skyrocketing. Malnutrition is skyrocketing for a very simple reason. There isn't food to feed people.
We're 20 months into this conflict. You and I have had multiple conversations about the situation on the ground. You've said that, while it's fine that these words of condemnation are now coming out of Western capitals, and that we need to now do more on the ground, what exactly do you expect from Western leaders, the global community to do? What kind of pressure should they be putting, especially allies of Israel, on Israel so they act now?
Well, I think that there's more and more unanimity coming out. And that's important because you're hearing it from across the Arab world, you're hearing it from Europeans, you're also hearing it from some parts of the Trump administration as well. There is no solution to this problem that involves immiserating the people of Gaza in the way that they're being immiserated at the moment. It's an abominable level of suffering. And what we need to see is that the admission by the Israeli government that some supplies are needed turned into a flood of supplies, because we've got to make up for lost ground. That's the truth about the situation on the ground at the moment.
David Miliband, always grateful for your time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Yelda.